Hey, what's up everyone? Claude is all the rage right now, but for very, very good reason. Now, we've been predominantly using it for SEO to help increase revenue for our clients, utilizing things like skills and MCPs, all things that I'm going to go through with you today. Here's one of our clients, and you can see the keyword movements by using Claude. So you can see this keyword here, it's up to number 6. This one's at number 2. This one's at number 1. The best thing about these keywords is if I jump into Google Analytics, and you'll see that not only are sessions up by over 78%, all from organic search, but the number of leads, most importantly, are up by 120%. And this is all from the Claude SEO framework that I'm going to take you guys through today. Now, this Claude SEO framework is broadly split into 3 of the most detailed prompts that I've probably ever written. Now, if you want access to the prompts in a very simple copy and paste format, just comment Claude SEO in the comments below and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, without further ado, let's just dive into the video. Okay, so firstly, let's just catch everyone up to speed. There's 2 concepts I'm going to go through. The first one is a skill. You might have come across a skill whilst using Claude. A skill is essentially just a predefined text prompt. So this means that we can essentially auto-load the same prompt every single time. Now, the second thing is understanding what an MCP is. Now, an MCP, it stands for Model Context Protocol. It is essentially the mechanism that allows Claude to plug directly into a third-party software or platform, allowing it to read and extract the data. In a way, it's almost like the nervous system that connects Claude, the brain, to the arms and legs, which are your software applications. Now, jumping into the first prompt, this is, of course, a keyword research prompt. Now, I can almost hear the collective groans like, oh, keyword research, we know how to do this. Trust me, you've never done keyword research as comprehensive and as detailed as this. If you comment Claude SEO in the prompt box below, I'll give you a link to this Notion board, and then you can directly access the prompts and download the skills so that you can use this in your own Claude interface. So let me just give you a bit of a summary as to what I've just said. This SEO keyword research, it produces a complete evidence-backed keyword research deliverable to any website, page, topic, or market, draws on SERP data, NLP analysis, competitor keyword gaps, Google Search Console impression signals, Ahrefs organic footprint, and data for SEO market research. It then provides it in an Excel, but you can provide it or output in a Google Sheet if you prefer as well. And if I just go through this entire prompt, you can just see how comprehensive this prompt is. Now, I've been doing SEO for the best part of 10 years. So all my learning, understanding, and experience goes into creating this prompt because I know what great looks like from a keyword research perspective. So what we're going to do is if you select the .md file up at the top, you can quite simply just go down and copy this whole thing. Now, if you open up Claude in your desktop or in your web app, it doesn't really matter too much. What I'm going to do is literally just paste this prompt in the box. Now, of course, I do have this saved as a skill, but just so it's easy to see how this all works, I'm just going to hit paste on that. Now, before we give it a seed keyword, the second thing that I need you to do is if you press plus on the connections here, we need to ensure that we're connected to any of our external data sources. So for example, if I come to connectors and I go to manage connectors up here, you'll see that I've got a connection with Ahrefs, and Ahrefs is probably one of the more globally renowned SEO software tools available on the market. Now, to connect the Ahrefs MCP, super straightforward, and I do believe it's available on all plans now. If I just come into the burger menu and I go into the details, all you need to do is add the connector URL, which is api.ahrefs.com/mcp/mcp. Once you connect that URL in your Claude, it will then take you through the OAuth and the access, and you can essentially sync it directly up with your Ahrefs account. So if you come into the corner here and you go to add custom connector, for example, you can add the Ahrefs MCP, select Ahrefs, and then click add, and it will take you through that OAuth. Now, you do have a number of pre-connected MCPs that you can directly add to and don't need to go through that custom connection, and some of them are here, so the likes of Canva and GitHub and Google Drive, for example. We're broadly going to be using Ahrefs across these prompts, but you may wish to use data for SEO and maybe some other SEO tools if you wish. So once you've connected your MCP, we then need to give it a seed keyword just to kick it off. Now, Session Media, we're a B2B performance marketing agency, so I think it makes the most sense if I just have my seed keyword as B2B performance marketing, and I'm going to keep it super broad just to show you the breadth of research that this skill will do. Now, what you'll notice with all of these skills is that they will ask you a set of pre-qualifying questions just to understand the breadth of the solution that you're wanting to get out of. So I'm actually just going to add with sessionmedia.com. This is for the United Kingdom, and I don't have a specific URL. I'm just going to keep this super straightforward for the video. The great thing about Claude is it essentially tells you the stories it goes through. So firstly, it's kicking off the SERP crawl. It's telling us that it's found the Ahrefs connection, which is awesome. It's got the SERP data back, and it's essentially giving us sort of these mini updates as it goes along, which is awesome. So we can almost keep track of the progress as it goes through it. You'll also notice as well that it understands that Session Media are a marketing agency. So it's already said here that based on the SERP, I'll pull from the most relevant actual agencies / competitor domains. So it's excluded LinkedIn and Adobe and Reddit, for example, and it's just looking at the likes of Hinge Marketing and Webmarketer UK, for example. So it understands who we are, what we do, and really has a good understanding of who our competitors are as well. Okay, so this has now completed the first step. So it's pulled the SERP. It's had a look at the intent signal, so it's informational. It's even had a look at the SERP features as well. So it's noted there's an AR overview. There's people also ask box, site links, image thumbnails. So all of this goes into the mechanism of determining the best content type to create. It's also given us some insight into the current organic footprint of Session Media. So we've got SaaS Digital Marketing Agency, B2B SEO Agency, B2B Marketing Consultancy, and then it's listed a number of keywords that we could go after: the volume KD, cost per click intent, and the priority as well. So what I'm going to do is hit continue on this and have this then move sequentially to the next step, which is building that workbook. Okay, so this process might take 3 or 4 minutes just to note. So don't stop it or refresh it or something like that. It will take a little bit of time. And the reason is that we've essentially told it to build a Python scraper so that it can create it in a nice Excel format that looks like this on the right-hand side. So on the left, it's given us a bit of a summary. It's given us 62 keywords. It's pulled it from 6 different data sources, which is cool. It's then broken it down by intent and content type. And then it's even given us some quick wins. So not only has it looked at the entire keyword landscape, it's actually given us a recommendation on the ones that we should probably start with. It's also mentioned that the B2B performance marketing phrase in itself is entirely sort of blog and info related. So trying to create a service page to drive leads from this is probably no good. And it's said that one of our competitors, Hinge, has done a 10 essential B2B marketing strategies, and that holds multiple positions within a single page. So I think this looks really cool. Let's have a look at the more interesting stuff on the right-hand side. So we can now download this as an XLSX, and we can open it as a Google Sheet as well. You can see we've got the keyword left-hand side, we've got the market, we've got the volume, KD. We've pretty much got every single data point that we need to make a decision on the keyword that we want to go after. One thing we didn't pull through was the Google Search Console impressions, which would have been a nice little tack on. It's also given us some notes at the end here. Down at the bottom, we've got our quick wins, we've got our keyword gap, our SERP intent analysis, our mapping summary, and just an appendix on the data sources. So this is pretty comprehensive. And again, if we were just starting the agency fresh and we wanted a load of content types to go after, this is a really good indicator as to what we can do. The next part with this is moving through the process, is creating a content plan out of this. So there is a little bit of an overlap between the keyword research process and the content plan, but the content plan essentially just looks at titles, headlines, fleshes out a little bit more of what the content could be depending on the keywords that we want to go after. So as per last time, I'm going to jump back into the Notion board and I'm just going to scroll down to the content plan skill, which should just be down here. So the content plan creator. So this generates a prioritized evidence-backed content plan mapped to specific target URLs and works for any brand, domain, market, or language. And again, the output is in an XL. So it's going to use a similar software set. And as per last time, what I'm going to do is open it up and I'm just going to paste it down below. And if I go back into our Claude instance, I'm just going to paste the prompt and I'm just going to say, using the content plan prompt as outlined, can you start shaping the content plan based on the keyword research output that you have just delivered? Start with the high intent, high priority keywords that you have recommended. And then as per before, I'm just going to hit go on that as well. Whilst that's starting to do its thing, I'm just going to jump back into the presentation just to sort of show you again how comprehensive this is. So again, it will look for Search Console impression and click data. It will then use Ahrefs to have a look for the organic footprint. It will have a look for long tail keywords. At the moment, we've just got the seed keywords in the keyword research doc. It will then give a priority score, and then it will give a bit of a strategy on the article briefs, depending on the audience and everything like that. And again, if I go into the content plan creator, we can actually see this in the flesh. So it's got the Search Console sections there. It's got the Ahrefs organic keyword sections. It's got something for data for SEO if you're connected to that. It'll then give a priority based on the target URLs. It'll then generate some article briefs, and within each article we'll have the primary keyword, the context, data source, a strategy angle. It'll even give whether we should create like a lead magnet for it. So a white paper, downloadable ebook, something that essentially could be a bit of a soft lead for a business, and then it will give an output in an Excel, and it just breaks down as to what that looks like as well. Okay, so this now looks like it has completed. So what you'll see on the left-hand side is it's created a cluster. It's then created an article title and the primary keywords. So of course, within a cluster, you could have different types of keywords with different levels of intent, all serving a different user at a different stage in the funnel. So this is super important stuff. And then it's tacked on from the keyword research, the volume KD and the CPCs. It's given us the secondary keywords. It's also pulled through the intent. It's given us the content format, the URL slug, any context. And then it's even given us a bit of a production timeline, which, if I'm honest, is super important. And I will come on to this because we really have to be mindful of drip feeding any AI supported or AI generated content into the ecosystem so that we don't trigger a penalty from Google. Let's have a look, see what it says on the left-hand side down here. So it's given us 3 critical priority articles. So it's recommended B2B SEO agency UK, significant number of searches, low KD, which is Ahrefs version of competitiveness, saying it's really, really low, which is good to know. It's saying that we don't rank for those specific terms. And this is an urgent gap that we need to address. SaaS digital marketing agency, we're position 12 for this keyword. So we're on the cusp of page 1, which is awesome. And there's significant money being put behind this keyword. So a high cost per click indicates that the keyword has high intent because other businesses are willing to pay a significant sum to drive clicks from it. And then finally, they've recommended a blog for what is B2B performance marketing agency. It is 100% blog content, those services as expected. And of course, there's our favorite AI overview snuck in at the top there. So I think this is looking really comprehensive. And again, it's kind of kept the priority clusters starting with the top, moving down. Let's have a look through some of these tabs. So it's got the priority rationale starting with B2B SEO, then SaaS marketing, going to B2B performance marketing, and then PPC and paid media. It's given us a Gantt chart, like a production calendar, which is a really nice touch. And then at the end, also just reviewed the data sources and any key decisions that have been made. So up till now, we've done the keyword research. We've then fleshed out a bit of a content plan. The final part to this is subsequently the content creation. Now, before I go into this, just a couple of things I really want to make clear. One, please don't abuse this. Please don't do this at scale. I've seen time and time again that AI generated content that floods the ecosystem on a domain that isn't used to having a flood of content listed on it, that isn't doing active link building, that isn't doing any PR, that doesn't have an amazing amount of brand volume are contenders to get hit by a Google penalty. If you've got 50 pages on your site, then a week later, there's suddenly 1,000 pages on your site. That is going to signal to Google that you've mass created content, and they will just nuke your domain. They will just put it from the index. So please don't do that. The second thing is, although I'm about to take you through a very sophisticated SOP and prompt to create data-rich, data-led content, I highly, highly advise that you use a subject matter expert to create this alongside the AI. So use the AI as a bit of a steer, use the AI to help sort of structure, but ensure that you're getting the real thoughts, feelings, meanings, all from that subject matter expert. I can't stress that enough. Don't just hit create and churn out hundreds of articles, because it just simply will not work. And at worst, you put your domain at risk. I would really consult an SEO expert if you're thinking about wanting to do this, because you need to drip feed the content. The content has to say the right things. So, okay, now I've got all that stuff out the way. Let me just show you how this works, because it's very easy to one-shot AI content. And although the models have got better, it's still not amazing. So I would say this works best on low competition keywords, local keywords, when it has a human in the loop, feeding back, supporting, co-writing with the AI. And for the example I showed you at the start, it wasn't exclusively AI. It followed a very strict framework that I'll go through, but it had an actual writer that was going through and adding their opinions and tidying it up and everything like that. So firstly, let me break down what this prompt actually does. The first thing is it runs through a tone collaboration. So you either give it a tone of voice doc or a set of URLs to essentially, which allows the AI to essentially write like your brand or write like one of your authors, or as close as it can anyway. The second part is the NLP extraction. So similar to the keyword research, it will go through the competitors and it will extract content patterns that each of those competitors use that could be an indication that Google likes from an on-page perspective. Number three is information gap mining, or in this case, Reddit gap mining. So what we also like to do is find information that hasn't been surfaced via those other competitors to Google yet. So if we can bring new information to the SERP, that gives Google an extra incentive to want to rank our content. And then number four is that it will give us the outline of the content before it goes and writes it, to ensure that it's on the theme of what we were hoping, that it's not saying anything incorrect or anything that is against our brand and tone. And then finally, it will fact check its own work. Let me jump into what this prompt actually looks like in the detail of it. So again, it's going to ask you some qualifications up front, such as the tone of voice and also the EEAT proof source. So it's going to ask for things like case studies. It's going to ask for any article URLs that you've published in the past, and it will pull this out of those articles and reference them in the subsequent article as well. More predominantly if we're creating info content or blog content. And then having a look at the required inputs, so the primary keyword, target URL, the intent, the market, when creating this, we're even thinking about internal links, tone of voice, and all that kind of good stuff. We've built this so that it can satisfy a number of different content types, which is why it's so comprehensive. So here we have the tone of voice collaboration. We've then got the SERP crawl and competitor finder. We've got the competitor crawl and the NLP extraction. We've got the content schema. We've got the E18 mining and the information gap research, and then it will finally write the contents. There's several different guardrails in place to make sure that the article is as comprehensive as ever. And as I said, the beauty with this is because I've been in SEO for 10 years, I know what Google is looking for at the moment. But in turn, I also know where the shortcomings are with AI, which is why I can't stress enough to make sure that you get a subject matter expert involved in this process. But let's keep you from waiting. What I'm going to do, as per the previous examples, make sure I don't go up and miss it, is I'm just going to, again, download this, and I'm just going to copy it into the same window. So I've now pasted the prompt into Claude. I want it to use the pre-existing content plan output. But in this case, I'm going to choose one target keyword to go after. So I think it makes sense if I go for the number one recommended keyword. Using the content plan and the prompt attached, create the content for the primary keyword B2B SEO agency. Now, as expected, it's come with a handful of pre-qualifying questions. So number one, the output mode. Create this as the full written landing page article. Number two, tone of voice. For ease, I'm just going to say reference sessionmedia.com. Tone of voice, use the session-media.com website. And for number three, I'm actually just going to say search Ben Alfrey across the web because I'm intrigued to see what it could pull. Search Ben Alfrey across the web to see where else I have been referenced. And then we hit go for the final time, and let's see what it comes out with. Okay, so this has now created our article. Now on the left-hand side, it's given us a load of data-led headlines. So it's asked us to check the tone, so things such as short sentences, second person, direct imperatives. It's given us its own NLP score. So it's obviously scored the other competitors that are ranking and then aim to get us sort of sitting in between them at 72 out of 100, which sits between the 65 to 80. It's pulled the EEAT, so it's pulled a handful of case studies. It's pulled some credentials, so this is interesting. 13 years B2B SEO, actually roughly about right. Contributed to the CX network. A little short on the followers, but we'll let him off on that. And it's even pulled an old business that I used to run as well. 0 M dashes in the copy, all factual claims traceable, internal links, schema markup. So on the face of it, this looks pretty comprehensive. So let's have a look. It's given a bit of a table at the start. One thing also added into the skills is removing like the AI isms, so the commonly used sort of AI phrases. It's given a breakdown in the tone profile. It's given a breakdown in the NLPs, the EAT breakdown, and then it's given us the full articles as well. So it's tied SEO to pipeline, which is a lot of what we like to do. It's given us a summary, talking about the bottom of funnel keywords, the different offerings within the SEO package that we provide. It's given a breakdown of the clients we've worked with that's pulled from our case studies, how we work, FAQs. So I think on the face of it, this is looking really strong. And then it's even given us some examples of internal links to embed as well. And I think that more or less wraps it up. Now, as I said, the key thing with this is always loop in an expert. I would never just copy and paste this live onto the site. I would go through and I'd add my unique spin to it. I also wouldn't do hundreds of pages all at once. I might do a handful of pages in a given month. The example that I showed you at the start, we drip fed 101 different pages over the course of 6 months. So we're very coy about the publish rate because we didn't want to trigger anything with Google. But if you write content the right way, then the likeliness of that happening is pretty low anyway, right? So if you've liked this video, please subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I will see you next time.